Hello, and welcome back in, everybody, to another One Piece full spoiler video. That's right, the full summary for this upcoming chapter has officially dropped, and we're here to talk about it. Just in case you're not here for the Yapathon, in case you have not read the spoilers for yourself yet, make sure to do so. It'll be linked in the pinned comment as well as typed out piece by piece, so you can check it out there at your leisure. So, with that being said, getting right into the mix of things, we start the chapter off with Zoro, Hiruden, Stanson, Dorian Brogy attacking the Domi Reversied Giants. We see that Hiruden uses his strongest attack, Gungnir, to take some of these guys down. Dory uses Ikoku Sovereignty. Stanson, who we've never seen fight before, uses an attack called Giant Taiko Drum. And these three attacks split some of the Domi Reversied Giants in half. Here's the thing, when it comes to Hiruden and Dory using Ikoku Sovereignty and Gungnir, it's like, okay, we've seen those before. I'm not super excited for those. But for Stanson, though, Stanson's uncharted territory, man. I want to see what that giant Taiko attack actually looks like. I think that's an homage to his weapon, and that's mainly because his weapon does look like a giant hammer, but more so now that it's called Giant Taiko, I'm like, okay, wait, is it just a drum attached to a stick? Is that what's going on there? But semantics, nobody actually cares about Stanson minus me. Next, we move on to Zoro. He does use a brand new attack called Three Sword Style Red Ogre Raging. Santoryu Akaoni Okomega is how I think you pronounce it. And yes, it is very similar to Rengoku Onigiri, the attack he used against King, and the attack slices one of the Domi Reversing Giants' head and body to pieces. I kind of wish the full spoilers mentioned if these Domi Reversing Giants also turn back to normal, because right now it just sounds like we're brutalizing them. But it's like, wait. We're killing them, yes, but they should also be getting flipped back to normal, right? I guess we'll see. That is one thing to always keep in mind. Coming into the big spoilers and full spoilers, we do not have the chapter in front of us. We are taking the word of leakers at face value. So, since they don't mention Giants being flipped after these attacks, I'm wondering if they actually do flip and they just didn't mention them. We'll see. So now we cut over to Chopper and Gaban. They are attacked by two Domi Reversing Giants, but that is when Chopper uses Monster Point and he slaps one of the giants. The attack doesn't do any damage, which kind of sad. At least add in like an impact or something. The attack doesn't do any damage, but suddenly a giant shadow emerges from the giant's body and it flips him back to normal. Everyone is confused about how Chopper did it, and I'm confused as well. So I saw some people in the last video saying, oh, maybe Chopper played Domi Reversey, right? Maybe him and Scopper Gaban like cornered a giant, and then boom, they're back to normal. Maybe Chopper found a cure to Domi Reversey. Right now, I'm not too sure. I am still leaning towards this being something special with Chopper's Devil Fruit, because we gotta remember, right? Chopper's Devil Fruit has always been in contention after Sanganika to be another Devil Fruit that is something else entirely. And that might sound crazy if you haven't heard those theories before, but I mean, the thing is that Blackbeard was initially introduced at Drum Island, Chopper's hometown, and we don't know why. Why did Blackbeard go there? Did he want Wapol? Was he after a certain somebody like Dr. Kureha? Or was he after Chopper's fruit? Or was he simply passing by? That is also a very valid option, right? Pirates do have to stop at islands to resupply and wreak havoc, so maybe Blackbeard was just, coincidentally at Drum Island. We don't know. But here's the thing. If we do want to say that Chopper's Devil Fruit is special, we could say that Blackbeard was after the fruit. So yeah, maybe Chopper is some sort of mythical forest god. Maybe his Devil Fruit is more than meets the eye. Or we could just say that this is Chopper either finding a cure, or maybe this is just the power of the human fruit. Because he is the primordial human, he can turn everybody back to normal. Even though that wouldn't technically make sense because these aren't humans, they're giants, but semantics again. So yes, Chopper, I do think will be the talk of the town once the chapter officially releases. And I will admit, I'm kind of curious, but when the leakers say that everybody's confused about what Chopper did, is Chopper also confused? Because I think he would be. Like, Chopper definitely has no idea what he's doing, right? right? So we move on, and we see that Nami is feeding Zeus some black balls, so she's essentially building up his power. Kind of curious to see what Nami's gonna do with him eventually. You know, I think we are building up to a really good Nami scene. Spoiler alert, pretty much everybody so far amongst the Straw Hats have had one good scene here or there in Elbaph. Nami, we're still missing something from her, so I think she's building up to that. But while she's doing that, we see that Killingham has actually been off-screened. Dude, that pains me, brother. I cannot believe it. We came off of last week's chapter with everybody saying, oh, is Sanji going to get Conqueror's Haki? Is this fight going to continue? What's going to happen? Is Killingham going to go berserk? Is he going to, like, transform? Is he going to show us what kidney powers he has? Nope, he's just done. The spoilers say that someone grabs Killingham's severed head that is seriously injured. We discover that Sanji, Frankie, and Jinbei have defeated Killingham by separating his head, body, and legs, which prevents him from fully regenerating. Jinbei is the one grabbing Killingham's head, Frankie is tying up his legs, and Sanji is sitting on his body. Dude, these God Knights suck. Oh my god. As the resident God Knight defender, it's tough out here, man. See, here's the thing, right? The God Knights, I like them because they're villains. I wanted these guys to be strong so that the Straw Hats could get really awesome fights. Brother, they're so weak that we don't even see it on screen. That's crazy. I mean, granted, you know, 3v1, what were we really expecting? We got Sanji, Frankie, Jinbei. Frankie just got a crazy power-up. Jinbei's, like, fully rested and near water. It's nasty what Oda's doing to these guys. But there might be some hope at the end of the tunnel because of the dialogue. Frankie says, if we put part of this in a box, he probably won't be able to connect them back. Sanji says, I think there's a way to end them for good too, ... So it looks like he's, you know, reminiscing on the Scopper conversation. Anyways, these are the so-called knights in charge of protecting the Holy Land. Frankie says, we've just become that powerful, Sanji. After all, Luffy himself is one of the Yonko, which is true. And here's the thing, right? Two things can be true at once. The God Knights can be strong, and the Straw Hats can also be very strong as well. Like, dang, man. I had such high hopes for these guys, man. Granted, though, these still could just be the three weakest God Knights out of the bunch. I mean, hell, we still haven't seen Shamrock fight, and we're still missing, I think, like 4 or 5 God Knight reveals, too. So, there's still hope out there, but right now, man, I guess the Straw Hats are just that damn powerful. Sanji continues to lay it in. He says, I sure hope so, but it infuriates me that a small fry like this guy put Elbaph in such hardship. Killingham, here's the cope. Killingham says, underestimate me while you can, insects. And I'm curious, is this just shit talk? Or does Killingham really mean that? Like, is there a second awakening? You know, is Killingham rubbing his hands for like an emu buff? I don't know, man. Because right now, like literally, all of the threats in Elbaph have pretty much been quelled. Now that we know that Chopper can go around one-tapping Domi Reversing Giants, that's gonna get solved very quickly. Sommers was stomped by Loki, hit by Luffy. He's seemingly done for a little bit, right? And then Killingham, his body is in pieces. Right now, all that is left is Emu. So I do genuinely wonder, agenda aside, if the God Knights have more in their bag that we haven't seen. Will Big Daddy Emu give them one big power-up? That is the big question. I'm curious, brother. I'm curious. Because right now, at this rate, we're not getting any good fights out of the God Knights, man. You know, at this point, we just got to look to the Blackbeard Pirates for, you know, good 1v1s. So, Jinbei says, there's still one of you guys left who hasn't taken damage yet. Do not let down your guard. I'm assuming he's talking about Gunko right there. Now, we cut over to Usopp. Speaking of the devil, Usopp runs to Brook and helps him face off against Emu-Gunko. Usopp shouts that he's more angry than scared right now. He says to take hostages and to turn warriors against each other are cowardly tricks. Then, Gunko hits Usopp several times and injures him. Brook tries to help out Usopp, but Emu paralyzes Brook's body. from a distance. I'm assuming with arrows. I think that's like the easiest thing to do it with. Usopp stands up and prepares to shoot Imu Gonko with his black Kabuto. And Usopp says, listen here. Elbaph is a nation of warriors where they live by the sword and shield. If you want to conquer this place, then fight them head on, fair and square, you wimp. And hey, I said it yesterday, I'll say it again. This is the one time, genuinely, in the entire story where I really like Usopp's words. You know, this is the one time where I'm like, hey, Usopp kind of cooked right here. And the thing is, you know, Imu's mindset, their whole take on this situation, it's apparent. Imu even says it. Imu says a ruler need not dirty their own hands. We get it. But the thing is that we're at this point in time where a lot of people are kind of wondering if Imu can even throw hands. You know, outside of just controlling people and doing magic, can Imu actually fight in a 1v1? We'll see. You know, Usopp is asking the big question here. Usopp then shoots a Skullgrass bomb at Gonko-Imu, but they teleport in front of them, and the explosion hits everyone. Usopp and Brook are defeated, while Imu simply regenerates. Straight up aura farming, flexing those regeneration abilities, huh? Now, we cut over to Luffy and Loki, and we see that Nami has reached both of them. She is scolding Luffy and Loki, while Ragnar, who's in their squirrel form, is trembling in fear. Dude, nobody is safe from Nami. Also, shout out to Nami meeting Loki for the first time ever. I am curious. I'm assuming it's going to be after Elbaph is done, but I cannot wait until Nami drops the Lola lore. Nami is the only one out of the Straw Hats, unless they share this information on the side, that knows about Loki and Lola's relationship. I know right now is not the best time to drop that info, but I'm looking forward to it, brother. Nami says, how stupid can both of you be? It's nice that you guys got rid of the monsters, but the fire he spit out made the wildfire even worse. Isn't it completely against our goal to help our enemies burn Elbaph down like this? Get a grip of yourself. Oh wait, now that I think about it, is Nami gonna help put out the fires by making Zeus really big, and then he does like a rain tempo again? Maybe that's Nami's big moment. So, we see that Ragnar tries to comfort Luffy by putting his hand on Luffy's back. Panel's hilarious, but Luffy turns around and starts shouting at Loki. Luffy says, I got yelled at because of you, Loki. Loki says, all I did was destroy the bastards who tarnished our land of Elbaph. Why did I deserve to receive this scolding from your crewmate? I like how Loki's not even fighting back against Nami. He's just like taking it on the chin. It's just one of those things, you know, you can't hit a woman, but you can hit Luffy. That is when Loki shoots a huge lightning attack at Luffy, but it doesn't affect him. And this scene is similar to when Enel used lightning on Luffy and it didn't work too. Suddenly, Luffy and Loki sense an explosion, probably Usopp's Skullgrass bomb, and end of the chapter, we're here. We get a double page where Luffy, Loki, and Ragnar arrive and see that Usopp and Brook are unconscious. Loki, he says, yes, this is the one whose haki reached all the way down to the underworld. Luffy says, Loki, I am furious now. Luffy is very angry and glaring at Imu-Gonko, and Loki says, I never intended to go easy on this. Imu says, obey me or die. Nika, Nidhogg, our battle will divide this world. End of chapter, no break next week. And brother, while this is a good chapter, while I really enjoyed it, I'm already looking forward to next week. Here's the thing, right? We, as a community, have been speculating for years and years, weeks and weeks now, as to how Imu will perform. How will they perform in a true 1v2 scenario? Can they actually fight when they're not just Domi reversing people? I wonder. There is a chance they just simply Domi reverse Loki next chapter. We don't know if that'll work or not, but you know, a lot of people have been talking about that. But it's like, man, like even Usopp called it out, man. Like all you're doing is, you know, playing tricks on people. Can you actually fight? That is the $1 million question. But with that being said, let me know your guys' thoughts on these spoilers down below. I love to hear them. And we will be back in the next couple of days to read through the comment section. So if you want your comment read or theory read, make sure to drop it down below. But until then, I'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much for watching this video, and peace out and stay safe, brothers.